The night Sir Thomas de Tuberville was hanged at Tyburn for treason in 1295. This is his story. Thomas had the misfortune of being on an expeditionary force sent to France by Edward I. Unbeknownst how to us today, Thomas was somehow captured by the French. In a dark, damp, and smelly dungeon, Thomas made a deal that would both save his life and condemn him to death. He agreed that in return for letting him live and setting him free, he would spy on the English for the French and the Scottish rebel, William Wallace. The messenger Thomas used to send his letters to Paris very quickly began to suspect what Thomas was up to and decided to turn one of these letters over to Edward I. Thomas's treachery was over almost as soon as it had begun. Thomas was one of the very first knights to commit treason in Anglo-Saxon history, and because of this, King Edward wanted to make an example of him. The day of Thomas's execution, he was dragged out of his prison, the Tower of London, and tied to a horse. His hands were bound before him, in front, and his feet tied under the horse's belly, and a white hood placed over his face. His executioner rode behind him on the very same horse. They were surrounded on all sides by 6 men dressed up as devils, who taunted Thomas and whipped him gleefully. Thomas, with his eyes covered by the hood, had no forewarning of when these blows were coming. When the procession arrived at Westminster Hall, Thomas was declared guilty of treason and his sentence read aloud for the whole crowd to hear. Thomas was to be drawn to the gallows at Tyburn and then hanged until unalived. Then instead of being cut down like normal, Thomas's body was to be left there until there was nothing left, as a warning to any other person who had similar thoughts. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear similar tales from history, follow along for more.